Hi everyone, and welcome to the latest instalment of SLC's Lockdown Countdown. And joining me today is Ashley Lutz from a brand new DMC, Vivu Journeys, in their first year of operation. Hi Ashley.
Hello.
Thanks so much for joining me today. Tell me, obviously a brand new business, what a year you've had in the first year of trading, and you launched some new destinations. Tell us a bit about what you've done in 2020 and how you've had to adapt.
Okay, so like you say, we're a brand new DMC. We're a year into the business now and into operations. We launched initially in Europe, so our first destinations have been the UK, Ireland and Portugal. And then it was always on the plan to launch Asia as of July this year, which still went ahead. And like you say, there are very few companies I think were launching new things this year, certainly not new destinations, perhaps as a DMC, but we started back in Asia, so back to our roots really, our historical roots. We're Vietnamese owned, so we have a lot of history and a lot of connection in Vietnam and Indochina. And like I say, it was always a plan to start in July this year, and we were really excited to launch it somewhere. I think, well, I can safely say for everyone at Vivu, regardless of which office they're based in, Vietnam and Indochina is definitely a soft spot for us. So we were delighted to be back in Asia. Needless to say, at the beginning of the year, when we were planning the year, if we'd have thought about how this year would pan out, it certainly wouldn't be that suddenly we would be in a lockdown number 2 in November. So in terms of, I guess, how we've adapted, I think we've probably been in a really good position in the first place, actually, being a new DMC, being a new company, but with many familiar faces working in our team. I think we're in a position already where when you start something new, you have a new mindset, you have kind of a fresh page to start, but you start very dynamically in the first place. You know, if you're new into something where there's already existing business, which, let's face it, I don't think you're going to start many new businesses where you don't have much competition. So, you know, you're coming into this already with a mindset that you have to be dynamic, that you have to think on your feet. And I guess because we have started and naturally, you know, sensibly, we started a more lean team. I think we've got the ability to be able to adapt very quickly because we're able to make decisions very quickly. So we're able to see what's happening and make those decisions to switch things as quickly as needed, really. Yeah. I think the key thing really for how we've adapted this year as well is very much communication. I think that's been so key for us this year, not just internally, but actually speaking to everyone that we want to work with or our current partners across Europe. So my remit is actually working across the whole of Europe. So we've got many great partnerships in place across, like I say, lots of different places within Europe and the UK. And for us, I think it's about listening to people. You know, it's about our relationships with our suppliers, and it's about relationships with our partners, really, and industry colleagues and friends. So keeping connected with people, understanding what people are after, what people are wanting, trying to think about trends and keep connected with people, and then just make those shifts and changes along the way so that we're offering something and we're constantly working on something that is relevant. Because otherwise, if you think this is the way we work and this is how we price, or this is how we do things and how we've always done things, sometimes it's quite hard to break habits. But I think we've all started with some very good habits and, like I say, that fresh page. So I think it's given us the ability to be able to be very dynamic quite quickly. And I think that's the key thing, really. And I think that's what we found with the more proactive partners that we're working with, is people that aren't afraid to look at how they're doing things and change and be dynamic. And I think that's probably the one word that would sum us up pretty well as well, amongst others, but being, yeah, that sort of dynamic approach, communication, and being able to change, you know, as and when, because obviously, as we know, especially in the UK, as we operate here, things change on a daily basis. So we've really had to, it's not just a case of, you know, perhaps when travel returns long haul, you know, we're talking about clients that we've got, you know, on the ground and had on the ground this year, and groups that we were due to have in the coming months, and how we've had to really adapt and really change things quite quickly. And like I say, and respond very quickly. And then I think going forwards, we've learned a lot of lessons this year, which have really refined what we're doing, which then we'll be able to offer our clients next year as well.
Yeah. And tell me a bit about what you could expect on a Vivu journey. What makes a Vivu journey different to any other trip?
Okay, so I think the key thing for us very much is about getting under the skin of a destination, and think about why people travel. So we've really had a good think about our product strategy, and product is really important at Vivu. We have a dedicated product manager in each destination, really focused on making sure that we're constantly developing, tweaking our product, making sure it's commercially viable, but really making sure that we've got something a bit more unique to offer people. And that is the connection. So we're very much about taking people to a destination, but getting really under the skin of things with the people, with the culture, with the food. And that's what we're doing, is really developing that. And we've got some exciting things that we'll be launching next year, which I can't go into too much detail about today. But again, it's really taking that connection theme that next step further. And that's really one of the things that I would say with us in terms of communities and that experience that the client's getting on the ground. We're not just about buying a service and selling it on. It's very much about that kind of control and creation from our side, and making sure that we don't ever lose touch with that. And suddenly you're just kind of churning out the same stuff that everyone else is doing, which, sometimes can happen. And I think we work with so many different markets and different styles of client, that I think naturally that lends itself to how we develop product as well. We've got quite a few different source markets and types of clients in mind. So we're constantly developing what we're doing with those people in mind.
Yeah. Well, that sounds very exciting, and we'll look forward to hearing about your developments in 2021 when you can let us know a bit more. So final question is, if all the borders were open and you could travel anywhere, where would be top of that bucket list?
I think this probably changes every hour of every day, depending on what I'm looking at, who I've spoken to. Obviously at Vivu we do Europe, we do Asia. Then you have conversations with friends. I think one of the biggest destinations for me next year definitely is Asia, because it's just where I love. But actually, not the destinations that we sell, but Sri Lanka. So I got married there a few years ago, as you know, Gill. And next year was when we were planning to go there. So for me, if I could go back to a gorgeous beach in Sri Lanka, that would just be like heaven.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd just really like some trips in Europe. I'd be very happy with that. Yeah. Just some beach and some sunshine.
Yeah, well, that's obviously Portugal. Vivu destination has bucket loads of great vineyards and experiences of beaches. So maybe Portugal could be your first stop.
That's top of my Europe list. Yeah.
Oh, Ash, it's been so great catching up with you. Thanks so much for taking the time today, and wishing you all the best for 2021.
Thanks, Gill.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.